Hey guys, it's me Seren back with another video. This video has been highly requested. A lot of you guys have been waiting and asking for me to do a video on relationships, and specifically relationships between black men and black women. You guys first started asking when Azealia Banks gave her kind of controversial interview that she gave maybe a couple months ago now, where she said that she doesn't date black men and all this, that, and the third. And last week, Kenya Moore from The Real Housewives of one of those shows that I don't watch gave a similar interview where she also said that, like, it's hard for black women to find a mate because black men are gay, in jail, or marry white women. So a lot of you guys wanted to know what I thought. And a lot of you guys just kind of want to know my opinion on relationships. I've been getting tons of requests through social media and Instagram and stuff like that. I feel like a lot of you are not going to like what I have to say in this video. I don't think a lot of you are going to like it. So I guess let's just dive right in. I think Kenya Moore is full of shit. I think she's full of shit. And I also think Azealia Banks is full of shit. As much as I like Azealia Banks, as much as I like a lot of the things that she says about race, I think she's full of shit. I think she's completely full of shit in the things that she says about black men. I think Kenya Moore is completely full of shit in the things that she says about black men. I'm not here for any type of black man bashing crap bullshit. I'm not here for it. I don't stand for it. I don't allow it. I do not subscribe to any type of war between black men and black women. I just don't get down with any of that stuff. Like, I don't fuck with it. I think that all that stuff is kind of symptoms of internalized racism, and a lot of people having self-hate. So they take it out on, if you're a black man with self-hate, you take it out on black women. If you're a black woman with self-hate, you take it out on black men. I think Azealia Banks, for all of her insight, I think she has a lot of self-hate. Same thing with Kenya Moore, same thing with a lot of these black guys, It takes a lot to say that the person of the opposite gender is ugly, or is a problem, or is this, or is that, because, like, that's you. Like, you are them, they are you. If you're a black man, like, that's gonna be your seed one day. Either you're gonna, if you're a black woman, that's what you're gonna give birth to one day, either, a black man or a black woman. So I think it takes a lot of self-hate to say, well, I hate black men or I hate black women. I feel like you're really saying that you hate yourself. And and I don't wanna date black men or black women for this reason or that reason. I feel like you're saying those things about yourself. That's how you feel about yourself. And I love myself. So I love black men. As far as dating and relationships go, I feel like it's hard out here for everybody. It's hard. Dating is hard for everyone, black, white, whatever. Dating is difficult. Similar to the concept of black on black crime, which you guys know I've made a couple videos about now. I feel like there's this racial element that's injected into dating, right? There's this racial element that's injected into black woman, black man dating scenarios that we don't see anywhere else, right? Just like how we have race injected into crime when we start talking about black on black crime, but we don't see that anywhere else. We never see the term white on white crime getting thrown around. We never see the term Asian on Asian crime get thrown around. You have these racial terms that get thrown in when we're talking about dating between black men and black women, and I think it's an offset of the racist, sexist, capitalist, white supremacist society that we live in. Because dating and relationships, it's hard for everyone. Dating being hard is not a black thing. Just like, crime is not a black thing, marriage rates as a whole in the country are down, divorce rates are up. I'm sure we've all heard that stat that says that like 51% of Americans are divorced or will be divorced. Hold on, sorry. See, I have something in my mouth. You have marriage rates in the country that are down. You have divorce rates that are up. And you also have more and more people, again, of all races, who are waiting longer and longer and longer to get married, waiting to go to college, waiting to get a job. You know, shit's crazy right now. Shit's crazy right now with the economy, with the jobs, with the housing market, with the student loans. Shit's crazy for everybody. You know, of course, Black people are getting hit harder because we always get hit harder because of our status within the society, but shit's crazy for everyone. You know, shit being crazy, again, is not like specifically a Black thing when it comes to dating, right? You have a whole media genre, for example, the rom-com, the romantic comedies, which is built around, you know, dating and relationship woes, right? And it's very common to see certain concepts in rom-coms. It's common to see certain concepts in news articles, in movies, in TV shows when we're talking about dating, you know? And I'm talking about mainstream media, white media, you know? You see the same exact concepts and stereotypes. Women are nags, right? All women are nags. Women only like jocks. Women only like athletes. Women only like rich guys, you know? And then you have women, oh, it's so hard to find a good man. It's so hard to find a good relationship. All these dudes out here are lazy. You have so many shows and TV shows, you know, King of Queens, which like circles around the concept of like her husband being like a slob and being like lazy. All these comedies like Family Guy and all these shows that circle around like the husband being like fat, lazy, and like dumb and like not wanting to do shit and like always fucking up, you know? Fucking Malcolm in the Middle, which was a show that kind of revolved around the wife. The wife's role in the show was, you know, a nag, fucking with an attitude problem, a white lady, right? And these are white, aka mainstream tropes and concepts and stereotypes. You know, if you open any white magazine, Cosmo or Elle, you know, you'll see articles right now on these exact same topics. When I log on to YouTube, I keep getting this annoying ass recommended video. I think it's from Glamour that says like sexy versus skanky. What do guys think about like your bathing suit, right? These concepts of women are this and men are that are not necessarily Black concepts, right? You have shows also like Sex and the City, which the whole show revolves around these 4 white women dating and looking for love and, you know, their mishaps in love. And the show starts when the main character, Carrie, is 35 years old, right? And that's what the show is about, right? You have movies like fucking She's All That, all the like the teen little movies of the 90s, which, you know, kind of use these same tropes of like, oh, you know, the little nerd dude, like wants to date, you know, the hot girl, or I'm thinking of 10 Things I Hate About You, where the nerd Cameron, JGL, wanted to date the hot Alex Mack. I can't think of her name in the movie, but she was Secret World of Alex Mack. You know, she was like hot, and he was like a nerd, and she wanted to date like the rich, shallow guy. You know, these are common tropes that we see over and over. Yet, when Black people talk about dating and talk about relationships, we see these same tropes, but they're racialized all of a sudden. We see racialized versions of these tropes, right? So instead of seeing these concepts without any injection of race that we would see in mainstream media and white media, now we're seeing these racialized versions of these tropes being flung at each other, right? So instead of women want jocks or rich men or this or that, it becomes Black women all want jocks or rich men. Instead of women are nags with bad attitudes like Lois and Malcolm in the Middle, it becomes Black women, right, are nags with attitude problems. Instead of, oh, it's so hard to find a man, it's so hard to find a, you know, a good relationship, it becomes, it's hard to find a Black man. It's hard to find a Black relationship. And like I said in the beginning of this video, I feel like this all comes from self-hate, right? This comes from self-hate because dating is hard, relationships are hard, right? And there's no magic pill for that, right? You see Black people fling racialized versions of these concepts and these stereotypes at one another because so many of us are suffering from this internalized racism. So we buy into and we perpetuate stereotypes and self-hate, right? That was really introduced to us by a white supremacist media, you know, that has an agenda. And we regurgitate it and we repeat it over and over to the point where we believe it. So it's not, you know, men are lazy, it's black men are lazy. It's not women are nags. It's black men are nags. And then you have black people that kind of want to say that, oh, since this is a black thing, the solution is like dating outside the race. What? That's so crazy to me. Like, it's crazy. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense, right? Like, I don't understand it, right? You have black people that are so invested in these stereotypes and these concepts that they literally believe them. Like, they believe that this is actual reality, and they create this idea in their mind that it's like absolutely impossible, right, to date another black person, and that switching to another race is somehow the answer, right? But like, that's not the answer. Like, that's not the answer, Legal and Iverson, okay? Like, people are people, and dating is dating, and relationships are relationships, and there is no magic pill to make dating work, and there is no magic pill to make relationships work, right? Especially not dating interracially, because if you're in a normal, healthy relationship, you're going to have the same exact problems, which is people nagging each other, which is people having attitudes, which is people getting on each other's nerves, trust issues, jealousy. Like, these are all things that happen in relationships regardless of race. But you have people that, black people that have bought into these racialized versions of these same exact concepts that and stereotypes that we really see everywhere, that they say like, oh, well, I'm going to get me a white man, or I'm going to get me a white woman, and that's going to make all my problems go away. Because white guys aren't also lazy, because white women never ever nag. Like I said, we have whole entire TV shows and movies and genres and articles. You know, I'm pretty sure you could go, like I said, open up Cosmo right now, and they'll have at least one article in there talking about, are you nagging your boyfriend? You know, like, these are sexist, you know, tropes, but they don't have to do with race inherently. We use our own internalized self-hatred, and we make it about race, you know? I don't know how many of you guys have seen the movie The Brothers, like one of those 90s movies. I think they have it on Netflix. It had like Shamar Moore, I want to say Bill Bellamy, Dwayne Martin, and it was one other guy. It was like four black guys, and it was like all about like their dating and like their dating woes. And I want to say Dwayne Martin's character, either Dwayne Martin or Bill Bellamy, one of them, didn't date black women because he had these issues with his mom, right? Which I feel like a lot of interracial relationships stem from mommy issues and daddy issues. But, you know, I'm going to make an in-depth video on interracial dating where I kind of go a little bit more, you know, in-depth into that. But he had these issues with his mom. We see him trying to interact with his mom, and his mom had problems with showing him affection. Like, she didn't want to hug him. She didn't want to say she loved him. She wanted him to be, you know, kind of tough and be a man. So he had these issues with black women, feeling like black women don't know how to show affection. Black women don't know how to nurture, you know, things that you hear all the time. So he was dating this white girl, fucking Dexter's wife. I don't know how many of you guys watch Dexter, the serial killer show, but Dexter's wife. He's dating this white girl. He takes her out. They get in an argument at a restaurant, and he says like, oh my God, like, you're exactly the same, right? And she's like, oh, what's that supposed to mean? And he's like, nothing. And she's like, oh, you think because I'm white that I'm not going to have feelings, or, you know, that I'm not going to have an opinion, or this, that, and the third? She's like, well, newsflash, like, women are women, and women don't like assholes, like black, white, or otherwise, right? He felt like switching to white women was going to be some type of magic pill, just like how Azealia Banks and Kenya Moore feel like switching to white men is going to be some type of magic pill, and now all of a sudden the relationship is going to be cotton candy and clouds and rainbows and unicorns. And that's not how it works, because people are people, and you are dating a person. You're not dating an idea, you're not dating a stereotype, you're not dating a concept, you're dating a person, black, white, or whatever, right? So this whole concept of making these tropes and these stereotypes racialized and saying the magic pill is dating outside the race, it's so illogical, right? Like, it really doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't make sense. People are people, and dating is dating. Now, one of the things that I will say about interracial dating is that, in my opinion, the majority of people that are in black-white interracial relationships get into these relationships for the wrong reasons. Like in The Brothers, how he's in the relationship because he has the issues with his mom. So instead of examining that you have issues with your mom, you just say, oh, all black women don't know how to show me affection, and I'm just gonna like switch to white women because I feel like white women can do that. So instead of even treating that white woman like a person, you're also treating her like a stereotype, like a caricature, you know. And like she said, you know, people are people, women are women, and we don't like assholes. Everyone's gonna have their bad days. Everyone's gonna have their days where they feel like nagging, having an attitude, being annoying. Just like every man is gonna have his days where he feels like being lazy or doing this or doing that. It doesn't make sense to say all white, you know, women are better or black women are worse, or white men are better or black men are worse, right? You have these people that get into these interracial relationships for all the wrong reasons, and this affects the dynamic of the relationship, right? This affects the dynamic of the relationship. If you have two people that are dating for fucked up racial reasons, like mommy issues or daddy issues, that's going to affect the behavior. And the behavior of people in those relationships is not comparable to the behavior of people in regular natural relationships, right? Because you have people that will say like, oh, well, you know, such as I remember reading about Big Sean when he first got with Naya, crazy ass, and he said like, oh, she like gets up at 2 a.m. and like makes me pasta, and like that was when I knew she was the one. You had tons of like people that were saying like, oh, see, like this is what happens when you like stop dating black women. You can get pasta made for you at 2 a.m. or something like that. And it's like, okay, but that's not a normal relationship, because one, Big Sean is like a fucking rich and famous rapper. Like, I'm pretty sure he could have any type of bitch fucking getting up at 2 a.m. sucking his toes and doing this, that, and the third because he's rich, he has money. You can't compare that to the normal, you know, behavior of normal people in normal healthy relationships, right? Like, you can't do that. And also, I'm pretty sure Naya knew what she was in it for. I'm pretty sure, you know, everyone involved knew what they were in it for. And I feel that way about a lot of these relationships that are in the public eye, that you see people look at and say, well, that should be some type of standard or some type of blueprint for a relationship. People that are obviously in unhealthy relationships with unrealistic behavior, right? That should not be your standard for a relationship. Like, that should not be your standard. If you have a black woman with daddy issues who wants to be in a relationship with someone older who can represent a father figure, so she gets with nothing but older white guys, Azealia Banks. Or if you have a black man with mommy issues who wants to be in a relationship with someone that will treat him like a child and get up at fucking 2 a.m. and make him pasta, so he gets in a relationship with a smothering non-black woman, Big Sean. These relationships are not comparable to healthy, normal, natural, real life relationships. And they should not be looked at as a standard, which is something that I see a lot of people doing, and I think it's really weird, and I think it's really disturbing. Like, you don't even want these damaged, broken people, because that's what these people are. You don't even want, if you see a nigga that be like, oh, I want me a white or Spanish baby mama because I want my kids to be pretty, run! You don't want that person. That person is broken. That person is damaged. That person has convinced himself that his own seed, his seed that will come out of him, is not beautiful unless it's mixed with something else. That means he hates himself, right? That means he has hate for himself and for his blackness. He feels like his blackness is ugly. His blackness has to be mixed with something else to be beautiful. That person is damaged and broken, and you don't want that person. And it's the same thing with black women. If you're a black man trying to get with a black woman, and all she keeps saying is she wants to get with, you know, a white guy so she could have pretty babies, you know, with nice hair and nice eyes, run. She is a damaged, broken person. She's a damaged, broken person. Don't feel bitter. Don't feel resentment. Feel like you dodged a bullet from a crazy bitch. Right? Because that's not healthy. These are, like I said, these are damaged, broken people that are not even capable of having healthy relationships, right? Kind of similar to what I said in my Black Girls Are Poppin' video, you know? If a nigga needs a mom and decides a white woman, you know, is the only person that can fulfill that, let him, right? Let him. He needs therapy, not a white person. But if he feels like, I don't know, therapy is too expensive, or, you know, that's what he feels like he needs, let him. Don't chase after damaged, broken people that are suffering from internalized racism, right? There are lots and lots and lots and lots of other people out there, but I'm going to get to that later. I'm going to get to that a little bit later, you know? But I just want to say that, like, you know, you have these people that internalize all this stuff and affect other people, and I feel like don't let that stuff affect you, because those are damaged, broken people anyway. Those are not the type of people that you want. Those are not the type of people that you want to be in relationships with. And those are not the type of people that should be in relationships with anybody. They need to work on themselves, right? I feel like Azalea Banks really needs to work on herself before she keeps dating these older white dudes, because there's a fucking underlying reason why you're doing that, and the reason is not black men ain't shit. That's not the reason. There's a reason with you. There's a reason with you, right? People are people and dating is dating, and there's no magic pill, interracial or otherwise, to make dating work. If you're not finding what you want, I feel like it's one of two reasons. Well, not one of two reasons. I feel like you have two options if you're not finding what you want. One, you can expand your circle, right? Expand your circle. So if you're constantly going to the club, Wale, and meeting bitches in the club, and you can't understand why the bitches in the club don't want to talk to you, why they're chasing after all the niggas with the bottles and the money and the this and the that, maybe you should stop fucking trying to meet bitches in the club, right? If you keep meeting niggas off Snapchat and they keep fucking you and dipping out, maybe the problem is not all black men want to fuck and dip. Maybe you should stop meeting niggas off Snapchat. Like, maybe you should expand your circle. Go different places, do different things, try to meet people in other places. You know, if you're doing the same thing and it's not working and you just like keep on doing the same thing and expecting, you know, different results, you're fucking up, right? They say that that's the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Like, stop. Expand your circle, right? Go places alone, go new places, try new things, you know, things that you've never done before, and see if you can meet people, right? Excuse me. If you've expanded your circle and you're doing different things and you're still trying to meet people and it's still not working out, then I feel like your second option is you have to work on yourself. You have to work on yourself. And I know that sounds cliche and that sounds corny and this and that, but you have to work on yourself. If you are meeting different types of people at different types of places and you're doing different types of things and it's still not working out over and over, you're going to have to start looking within. Like I said, Azalea Banks has decided that all black men ain't shit. She has not decided that she has daddy issues that she needs to work out, right? That's problematic. You have to look within and see what are your issues and what are you doing, right? And this is what I'm saying. I know this is going to make a lot of people angry, but it's really true. Like, that's really how it is. Like, I was with somebody after college for 3 years. I was in a very serious relationship. It ended up not working out. We broke up, you know, and I was single for a year after that, just working on myself. I was going to botanical gardens by myself. I was riding ferry rides by myself. I was going out to bars by myself, restaurants by myself. I was reading a lot. I was just, you know, saying, what do I need to do to be happy, to be a good person, to be a better person, to be a positive person, to kind of radiate, you know, positive energy, and to be someone that I would want to date, you know? Because you also have people that are carrying around all this bitterness and all this negativity. You know, there have been people that have hit me up to ask me to make this video, and I felt like the way they were coming at me was fucking crazy and bitter and negative. So I can only imagine the way that it is when they talk to other black men or when they talk to other black women. If you already are entering into conversations with black men and black women with this attitude of, well, I know it's not going to work. Well, I know you ain't shit anyway. Well, I know you're going to have an attitude anyway. Well, I know this. Well, I know that. You're already giving off a certain type of vibe that will make people not want to fuck with you. That is 100% true. It's true. It's true. Like, I was single for a whole year. I worked on myself. I went on some dates, some bad dates, kind of a string of bad dates. And I was like, you know what? I'm not dating anymore. Like, obviously, I need to just work on myself for a while. And then, you know, when I met my husband, well, maybe we'll have a video about me and my husband, but when I'll say re-met my husband, because we had already known each other from the past, we, you know, started talking on a friendly level and ended up dating, and now, you know, we're married. And a lot of people also say, like, oh, you know, where did I go to meet an enlightened guy and this, that, and the third? And I feel like that's part of it too. You have people that have these unrealistic expectations. My husband was not enlightened when we met. My husband was not. He was just a person that I liked. I was just a person that he liked. We've both grown and changed a lot. And we're kind of on this journey of enlightenment together, really, at this point. So you can't, well, I need, you know, you can't be like, oh, well, I need this guy, this black man or this black woman to be this, and this, because that's also not going to work. Like, you have to just meet somebody that you like, that you connect with, that you vibe with, that you have fun with, somebody that treats you good, someone that treats you, you know, the way you want to be treated and treats you, you know, respectfully. For me, and that's different for everyone. I want to say that too. That's different for everyone. For me, I like to talk. Obviously, I like to curse. I like to say nigga. I say fuck. I say this. I say that. I've been on dates with guys that said that they felt like that was unladylike and this, that, and the third. So that was not going to work for me. That might have worked for someone else, but it wasn't going to work for me. That doesn't mean that all black women have mouths like a sailor, right? You see how, like, ridiculous it is? People need to just stop with this, like, oh, this belief that just because they met one bad person or went on one bad date, that means something about everyone. And instead, maybe start looking within and see why you're so quick to even jump on this train of thought of all black men are this, all black women are that. Is it because you hate yourself? Is it because you have this internalized fucking self-hatred and this internalized racism that you already think that you're not shit, so you manifesting that on other people? Like, you have to think about it, you know? Just, you know, those are your two options. You either have to expand your circle or work on yourself, right? And I also feel like a lot of people feel like that's hard because people want everything now. They're on social media, they see all these people booed up and in relationships and cuffed and this and that, and they want that for themselves now. People seem so desperate, right? Stop being desperate to find somebody. I feel like that's also a part of it, you know? I was single for a whole year. No dates, no sex, nothing. I was single. I was straight up working on myself for a year. By the time my husband came along, our relationship developed naturally. There was no type of desperation. You have these people that are obviously desperate to be with somebody. I was on this message board one time, a male message board, because I belong to both male and female message boards. I like seeing how people think. And I remember one time I was in this message board where these black guys were talking about dating, and one guy said, like, oh, I date outside the race because I don't want to be lonely, you know, and black women, there's not a lot of black women, you know, that are like feeling me right now, so what am I supposed to do, like be companionless? I remember reading that shit thinking like, yes, like, my nigga, how old are you? Like 19? You're 19 years old and you're already this concerned about being companionless? Like, you're gonna be okay. Like, you're not gonna die alone. Like, you're not gonna be companionless. Be companionless until you find what you want. Know what you want. Expand your circle. Work on yourself. And if you have to be companionless until you find that person, then you're fucking companionless until you find that person. One time my husband asked me, you know, how did I feel about my relationships in the past? You know, would I say my relationships worked out? I said, no, none of my relationships worked out until this one, because every single person I dated, I broke up with until I got with you and we got married. You know, like, people are so desperate to have a companion and they're so scared of being alone that it's almost like people are willing to settle, right? And it's this really funny thing that I see, because like I said, I see people on male message boards and female message boards, and it's like an echo of like black men and black women almost saying the same thing. Like, a picture of a beautiful dark-skinned black woman might get put up on a message board. The first comment from a black man might say, oh, but I bet she only dates white guys. Same thing on the women's message board. A picture of like a beautiful dark-skinned man might get put up. Oh, but I bet he only dates white women. Like, we already have these ideas in our mind of this and of that, or oh, I bet he don't have no job, or I bet she got 4 kids, or I bet this, or I bet that. Like, we don't even give each other a chance. And then it's like, we're also at the same time so desperate to not be alone that we're like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna just settle for something, dating outside the race or this or that. And it's like, I wasn't gonna settle. Like, I remember having a conversation with my homegirl one time where we were like talking about interracial dating, and she was like, I could never like marry a white guy or like marry somebody outside the race. And I was like, why not? And she was like, well, because one, I feel like I would disappoint my parents. Like, my parents have really raised me to believe that it's part of my responsibility as a black woman to marry a black man, to have black children, and, you know, to further the race. And that's what I want, and I'm not going to settle for anything else. You have people that are literally out here settling because they're scared of being alone and because they're so invested in these stereotypes and in this bullshit that's not even true. If you want to date and marry a black man, date black men only. If you want to date and marry a black woman, date black women. There's millions of black women out there. There's millions of black men out there. Expand your circle. Get on some of these dating sites. Utilize social media. Fucking get out there, put yourself out there. And like I said, if you're doing that and it's still not working, maybe look within and work on yourself. Honestly, like really 100%. I know that's going to get under a lot of people's skin, but I'm so serious. I'm really serious. I was on Tumblr the other day. I have the post in front of me, and this guy said, like, you know, why I'm getting pretty gassed with females and people in general. Every time you post black male-ish, they quick to be like, a nigga will still cheat or they will still do this and that. Why the hell y'all want to be so bleak? What happened to being optimistic about love? It's like they don't believe good niggas exist. We out here, right? Like, they're out there. They are out there. Good black dudes are out there. Good black women are out there. Date. Don't settle. Don't have in the back of your mind that you're going to have to date a white guy or a white girl. Don't have in the back of your mind that all these niggas ain't shit anyway, gonna cheat, gonna do this, gonna do that, because you're already setting your relationship up to fail. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy if you already have that in the back of your mind. I knew I wanted to marry a black guy, so I dated black guys. All my homegirls that are married to black guys dated black guys, and I have lots of married friends, and I know lots of couples, you know, happy couples that are black men, black women. Like, it's real, it exists, like, we out here, like, you know. And I just feel like so many people buy into these stereotypes and this negativity, and they make it their reality, you know. Like, we literally have been tricked and brainwashed into believing something that's simply not true. Just, you know, if you want to date a black man or a black woman, get out there and fucking date, meet people, you know. If all you're seeing is negativity towards black women or negativity towards black men, cut that shit out of your life. Expand your pool, work on yourself, and cut that shit out of your life. Cut all those people off on Twitter, cut all those people off on Instagram, you know, Tumblr. Like I've said in other videos, when I kind of started getting more into social media, I was like, you know what, I want to create an entirely black space. I unfollowed people that reblog white people. I unfollowed anybody talking shit about black men. I unfollowed anybody talking shit about black women. That doesn't have any type of place in my life, in my space. So I cut that shit out, and all it does is make you feel bad. And you don't have to do that, right? It's bullshit. Follow people that make you feel good. All I see all day is like beautiful black couples on Instagram, deadass. Like, families, you know, as you guys know, I do Family Fridays on Friday now, where I post pictures of black families, and it's very easy to find pictures because there's lots of them out there. You know, you guys, like I've said before, unplug from this white supremacist media, which includes social media outlets that are giving you all this doom and gloom fucking propaganda, and get out there and date. Expand your dating pool and work on yourself, and stop buying into these racialized tropes and stereotypes, when honestly these same exact things apply to all races of people, you know? And I actually have some stats here that I want to share with you guys before I go from blackdemographics.com. You know, I'm going to include links for you, but marriage in Black America, I'm just going to go through really quick. Black marriage in 2015 among non-Hispanic African Americans aged 15 and up. Who black men marry? 86% have a black wife. Who black women marry? 94% have a black husband. I also want to say black women were more likely to be married than white women until 1970, and then the numbers dropped. I'm going to be making a video soon on integration. I feel like integration was a mistake. I know that's also going to get a lot of you up in arms, but if you look at the numbers and the statistics, the black community really started falling apart in the late 60s, early 70s post-integration. And I feel like there's a huge correlation between integration and the decline of the black community. You know, black women were more likely to be married than white women until 1970. Black men were more likely to be married than white men until 1960, you know? And then you had the war on drugs in the 80s and 90s, and you started seeing these, you know, amounts of mass incarceration of black men, which still, that is not black men's fault. So all this, niggas want to get locked up and this and that, you could kill that noise. I don't even want to hear that. I'm not even going to listen to none of that. Like, we love talking about the effect but not the cause. Oh, all niggas is locked up. Okay, but let's talk about the cause. Let's talk about the white supremacist fucking government system that targets black men. Let's talk about that. But I'm good. I'm gonna make a more in-depth video on integration. That shit is coming. And I'm also gonna make an in-depth video on interracial dating, so you guys can hear some more of my thoughts on that. But you know, black people are still getting married. Living proof. My parents, living proof. Two of my best friends, living proof. My best friend is about to have a baby, living proof. My other best friend that's married with a son, living proof. My other best friend that married a black man, divorced him, is now marrying another black man, living proof. All my friends that fucking are engaged, that went to HBCUs, living proof. Like, they're out there. Get out there. Get out there. Expand your dating pool. Stop thinking that the shit you see on Instagram and Twitter is real life, because it's not real life. A lot of that shit exists within a vacuum, and it just kind of circulates and circulates and circulates, and it's not necessarily real life and what's really going on in the real world. And just, you know, cut shit out of your, as much negative shit as you can, cut it out of your life, and stop believing, you know, in things that really mean you hate yourself. Honestly, that's how I feel about it. So those are my thoughts. This video is long because I had a lot to say, but you guys keep requesting this video, so hopefully you enjoyed it and you watched the whole thing. Hopefully I answered everything you guys wanted to hear. You know, I don't believe in a war or any bullshit like that between black men and black women. I think we need each other. We are each other. You know, I love myself, so I love black men, because, you know, if I have sons, they're gonna be black. What do I look like? Fucking hating black men. That means I hate myself. And no. And don't even with all this black men that. No. I don't. No. Fuck you. No. So yeah, check the links out. Of course, there'll be information in the description box. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Food for thought as always. See you guys next time. Peace.